Troutmoon Press. What is and what may be. Observations of fact in the true nature of being by O. Jefferson Jones. More from What is and what may be by Orland Jefferson Jones. Chapter 6. What then should we do? Given we are all connected, of one and contiguous flesh of the soul, of living patterns deep down through the hidden basement where the universe mind dreams, feeds, grows toward its perhaps destined awakening, what then should we do about it? How should we live? Simply strive to be free. Make the most of yourself and respect the same freedom in others. Love as best you can. Not for some greater good, but simply for your loved ones and yourselves. Like the businessman in a free market, you will find you can't help but serve others in order to serve yourself. If you do nothing but pursue your own freedom, while respecting the freedom of others, and try to really love, then you will have served the sleeping God well. Some may wish to help things along by encouraging honesty, freedom, and true loving. They can do so as their resources and gifts, understanding, and desire affords, but hew to liberty, I pray, avoiding hypocrisy and the seductions of power. The mystical and ascetic among us may try abnegation of self to force some glimpse of their own underlying connection to the universe. But this is not the proper end. The denial of self is not the health of the sleeping God. Instead, the meeting of individual and other individuals, conceived in liberty, the seeing of the all of the others in yourself, and yourself in all the others. This is the proper end. This is the awakening of the universe. Some few, sadly, will rather destroy the free richness and patterns of others, will desire to wield power and coerce rather than venture to persuade free people. In short, some wish to rule. Such as these will not be sanguine in the face of the gradual awakening of the good in us and among us all. They will fear the awakening of the sleeping universe mind. These evil ones with their will to power will not align with the natural good and true nature of being. What would happen to their beloved power as more patterns of individual sentience become wiser, richer, and more free? They will lose power, and that is painful enough for them, but imagine the fear they must feel at the prospect of some universal goodness, fed on freedom and individuality, awakening some day, an actual God of the soul that lies among us all. The horror! Evil ones will do their best, worst, to prevent, pervert, poison, or at least delay the awakening. They will strive to starve the sleeping God by destroying individuals, impoverishing the patterns of individual beings, poisoning and perverting and enslaving them. Their arguments are sneaky weapons, their worldly lies. There is nothing special to being, nothing beyond momentary pleasure or pain, no enduring right and wrong. Live for the moment with no care for your future or the future of your family. Nothing matters. You are not connected to anyone or anything else. You are alone. Nothing that you do or are or choose to be matters beyond the end of your personal existence. They're spiritual lies. You are the chosen ones, destined to take from, rule over, and destroy some others who are conveniently somehow not as human as you. Or God is dead. Worship our new God walking the earth. Bow down to our creature, the state. And if the base argument that we are all connected has been won, Then they will fall back and argue like Vishnu did against Arjuna's reluctance for the slaughter of war. Arjuna: what possible good could come of killing or being killed by fellow human beings and family? Vishnu: we are all part of the same life force and get reincarnated anyway, so it's okay to slaughter and dominate. It doesn't matter if there is war or peace or who wins the war, so it might as well be you who rules. Go ahead and do your duty by slaughtering and killing. You don't want them to say you were weak, do you? Know them by their works and their words. First, they say individuals are unimportant, except for those who rule, of course, because individuals are separate, interchangeable pawns that can be sacrificed for some fictional greater good. Then they say individuals are unimportant because of the opposite reason. They are not separate after all, but part of one big life force blob whose individual excrescences are expendable and can be sacrificed, except for those who rule, of course, for that fictional greater good again. Once you cross-cancel the opposite parts of their arguments, you see the true assertions of the evil ones. Individuals should be sacrificed, except for me and mine, of course, for the greater good, which is whatever I say it is. This is evil, and obviously so. A 5-year-old could tell you so, while unfortunately a lot of 25, 50, or 75-year-olds have become confused. The fact remains, however, that coercion and killing degrades and makes fewer us individual beings, thus starving the awakening universe of richly patterned, loving, free-willed individuals that are its health and delight. The evil may even aspire to prevent or suborn the awakening itself, may attempt to poison the sleeping god, or remake it in their own dark image, centralization of power, of rule, one ring to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them, if they can make us all their slaves, mindless drones, transmitters with no individual modulation, just dead mindless carrier waves, no richness, no content, then they may hope that by controlling us all, silencing us, then only their patterns will feed the sleeping god, and it may sleep on, never disturbing their worldly power, or should it awaken fed only upon their evil wills, perhaps it may become their own slave, or at least of their same black spirit. How does this end? Sentient beings across the universe will grow richer, brighter, more free, and the universe awaken. Across towns, planets, galaxies, individuals rising up will reveal ever more of the connections between themselves and others, without ever losing their own rising heights of independent consciousness. They will discover that they are ever more connected to loved ones, and more widely to all, as the principle of love, which is the true sharing and caring for patterns of being, emerges in the growing manifestation of the awakening of the mind of the universe. This is God, if you must have one, in its true nature, the awakening connection of sentience, of soul, what we experience as, what we call, love. So, how to live? Think for yourself. A little painful at first, perhaps, but we often learn to like it. Discover and build your own patterns of knowledge and being. Don't accept dead, phony ideas from those who would subordinate you, poison your pattern of being with their coercive agendas, cloud the vision of the universe as it looks back out on itself through your mind's eye. Avoid their falsehoods, switch off their talking heads, despise their hidden threats as they heroize their enforcement goons. Know down to your bones that any attempt, whether obvious to you or more subtle, to coerce others, to foul the godly function of freedom with deception and lies, or to deny that others share the same humanity, the same connection to the sleeping God, is forever and always, everywhere and every when evil, no matter how they dress it up. Withdraw your consent from coercion, deception, dehumanization, theft, war, and any destruction of the freedom of another being to live its life and dispose of its possessions freely within respect of the same unalienable rights in others. And finally, be at peace in knowing that reason applied to undeniable fact shows us that 1. There really is more to our physical existence than usually meets the eye. 2. That true love is a real physical phenomenon, one that involves actually enabling some part of the pattern of being of another being to enter into and live inside you. True love actually connects the beloved one to you in a real fashion through the underlying higher dimensions of the universe. 3. Evil is also real and a great danger, but evil is not the destiny of being in the universe. We all individually possess the weapon that is the doom of evil when sufficient of us simply apply it within our own lives. This weapon is simply and awesomely to withdraw our consent from evil in all its manifestations. And all these manifestations are recognizable as variations on the same thing: coercion. 4. Down below the surface of things, you are contiguous and connected with other sentient beings in the universe, evolving and growing together as you may choose. This deeper thing that we are in connection with desires the good in you, for you, and from you, and this good is simply that you should live your life in freedom as you choose, secure in possession of what you have honestly acquired, and in full respect of the same freedom for all other beings, and thus your own goodness will be to the health of the universe mind. We have arrived. Thanks for coming along. Facts were observed, sweet reason was followed. This is the true nature of being in the universe. Now will you bow down into the darkness of isolation and evil cast upon you by your self-appointed rulers? Or will you stand up and think for yourself, cleave unto life and liberty, endeavor to really love, and feed your own goodness into the slow awakening of the sleeping God? Your choice matters, and the question has been asked. Will freedom be your answer? Thanks. From shocking personal experience, at odds with everyday reality, on a foundation of undeniable fact cemented by reason, the writer clarifies a compelling vision of the true nature of being. In this writer's magnetic field of clarity, you may recognize a landscape so old and true that you feel it in your ancestors' bones. What is and what may be. Search for the Android app book by Trout Moon Incorporated on the Android markets, and it's coming to an ebook retailer near you